soft voice. My name is Danielle Gabor, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the City of Haysville. And I am very happy to be here today to give you an economic development update for Haysville. In this presentation, I'll cover a little bit about the history, demographics, and data, residential developments, quality of life, businesses, improvement plans, and infrastructure improvements for Haysville. So first, I just want to go through a little bit about the history. William Wallace Hayes came to the area in 1870. Between then and the city's incorporation, the first school and first post office was built. And in 1891, about 161 acres of land was platted by Hayes to build the city of Haysville. After that, the train depot was built, and in July 1951, the city of Haysville was officially incorporated. So several years passed between the first school and the city's actual incorporation. So fun fact, if you look at a photo, and I don't know if you can see it well enough on the printout, but maybe up here. If you look at the photo of the school, Haysville begins with H-A-Y-S. If you look at the photo of the train depot, it begins with H-A-Y-E. So this is because there was some confusion. Some people thought that we were named after the 19th president, which was Rutherford B. Hayes, whose spelling was H-A-Y-E-S, and was president from 1977 to 1881. So right around that time. And sorry, 1877 to 1881. Luckily, this was cleared up, and we are appropriately spelled after the founder, William Wallace. So the population at the time of the 2020 census was 11,262. The 2022 valuation is about 70.5 million. And the mill levy for 2021 is 45.448. The current land area in square miles is 4.74, and there are about 23.5 square miles in our area of influence. I do have 3 graphs that include population growth. So as you can see, we are steadily increasing in population, and the city valuation for the last 3 years and the mill levy for the last 3 years. Sales tax is 8.5% currently, and we do have a 10-year 1% city sales tax that was approved in April 2014 and is effective through July 2024. It's used for streets, parks, and recreation improvements. And the sales revenue for 2021 is about 1.2 million. Median household income is close to 55,000. And the median home ownership value is about 110,000. So we do have a few current housing developments where homes are being built. One is Country Lakes. It's in Southwest Haysville, and I've got 2 photos on the right-hand side of that. And River Forest, which is in North Haysville. And these are the photos that are in the bottom left-hand corner. And then we also have Timber Creek. Timber Creek was a part of the Haysville Land Bank, so we were selling those lots. The last lot closed in May 2022, and we sold those for between $7,500 and $40,000 per lot. Our most recent past incentives for residential areas in Haysville was the Wood Tree Farm. We were giving away trees for owners who were building new homes, and 10-year graduated tax rebate on the city portion of the property taxes for new home builds. That program ran from 2015 through 2018, and the last year the rebate will be administered is 2028. We do have a few upcoming residential developments, such as Coppertail. It is in about center of Haysville along Grand, and it'll have duplexes and quadplexes. And it'll be about 100 individual units that'll be built in 3 phases. We also will have new commercial construction directly along Grand. Completion is estimated at the end of 2026, And we do have a 5-year graduated rebate of the city's portion of the property taxes that will begin after phase 1 is complete. The next one I wanted to mention is Wheatland Village. It was recently annexed into the city. The zone change request to residential actually goes to council this evening. It is in West Haysville along Meridian. And the plan is for both single family, about 96 homes, and duplexes, about 49 units, so about 194 total homes. And construction is anticipated to start April 2023. Haysville also has a land bank in southwest Haysville off of 79th and a little south of Meridian. It is a little over 77 acres and should accommodate about 150 homes. And those will be single family residential. In the future, the city will partner with a developer for that property. And then we also have other future developments in discussion. So what brings people to Haysville? So we have a survey that we ask residents to complete when they open up a new water account. And we only have a few questions on that survey, but one of the questions is, why are you moving in or staying in Haysville? The top 2 reasons we always see is family and community. So these 2 variables are always very close. Sometimes family is higher, sometimes community is. Next, we have the school district and work. And likewise, these 2 are very close. And then the final category is usually other. And most people leave that blank, but if they do fill something out, it's usually that they did find a house in Haysville that they liked. I've also included a graph and it shows if they purchased a house or are renting. Keep in mind, this is for new residents that moved into the community in 2022 only, not all of the population. But I did want to include it just because I thought it was interesting that 46% were coming in for rentals. So I also wanted to include the overall residential ownership in Haysville. As you can see, even though Wichita's rate of home ownership is at 58%, and the US average is at 64.4%, and this is all based on the 2020 census. Haysville is comparable to other cities surrounding Wichita, with 73.9% of our residents owning their homes. So the following few slides will be on the quality of life. Quality of life and economic development really do go hand in hand. They both improve the other, making the community a more attractive place to live, bringing in additional residents that bring in growth, other businesses, and add to the tax base. Our survey data shows, as I mentioned, that family and community are our drivers for new residents. Therefore, quality of life is an aspect in Haysville's economic development and growth. So I'll go through the parks and recreation, senior center, events, schools, and historic district. So Haysville does have 13 parks within the city. We also have a wonderful parks division that maintains and works to improve our parks consistently. Many of our parks have playgrounds. For example, we have a new playground at Country Lakes that just had its ribbon cutting. And some have hike and bike paths. We have about 12.89 miles of hike and bike paths within the city. And some have ponds, fishing, free city Wi-Fi, and shelters, including the new covered shelter with power outlets at Dorner Park. And residents can also now reserve park spaces online. We also have our new sand volleyball and pickleball courts, and these now have lights that residents can turn on in the evening. And it's shown on the flip photo there in the upper right-hand corner. Also within our parks, we have baseball and softball fields, disc golf, and skate park, dog park, and a pool. We're also installing permanent cornhole games at the park just south of the activity center. We also have 2 veterans memorials, one in Historic Park and one in Riggs, and the Angel of Hope Memorial. It's a place of remembrance for all those who've lost a child, and it's in Dorner Park. It was actually the first one in Kansas and may actually still be the only one in Kansas right now. We also have the Haysville Activity Center, which is a state-of-the-art recreation center with a full calendar of programs, classes, and events, most at little or no cost to residents. And it currently has about 1,400 members. Haysville's also been recognized as a Tree City recipient through the Arbor Day Foundation for 20 consecutive years. We also have some great community events. Our events are another reason, in my opinion, that the Haysville community and family is what brings and keeps residents in Haysville. As an example, we have a few rock and walk run events throughout the year. Party in the 060 that's in April. Summer park performances, 4th of July celebrations, several parades throughout the year, fall festival, and trick or treat on Main Street, which are both this month. And we now have 2 yard decorating contests, one for Halloween and one for Christmas. And then we also have Village Christmas. Again, these are just a few of the events that we have. I do recommend you check out the events on the Haysville website and invite you all to come and enjoy one or more of the events. We also have a very active senior center. An addition was added on the east side and the kitchen was updated recently. The addition added a game room, additional storage for the food bank that we have, and an additional restroom, and allowed expansion of exercise classes because of the extra space. They have a full calendar of programs and one of the largest Meals on Wheels within the surrounding communities with 50 recipients. And they give out commodities through the Emergency Food Assistance Program. We do also have a Haysville Hustle, which is a bus that provides low-cost curb-to-curb transportation. It began in 2020 and is partially funded by Section 5310 federal grant distributed by Wichita Transit for enhanced mobilities of seniors and individuals with disabilities. Since opening, they've given almost 5,000 rides and traveled over 19,000 miles. We also have a historic district within the city. It has the marketplace, and we have several events there, such as the farmer's market and a blacksmith shop that is actually a working blacksmith shop. It houses Central States metal artisans. And if you want to check it out in action, you can actually YouTube it under Forged in Fire, winner Lee Crawford. He won the Navy branch battle and worked it out of the Haysville shop. You can also go to the shop during operating hours for a free demonstration. And then the whole historic district also has the Wire House, the gazebo, which also has an amphitheater and they have events there. The community library, a veterans memorial, a bank, which is the office of the Haysville Chamber of Commerce, and a community building. And not a part of the historic district, but a historical site in Haysville is the Vickers Petroleum Station in Pride Park. And it is close to historic district, and it's the economic development office for the city, so my office. It was the first Vickers Batwing gas station in the US. It was built in 1954. And it is on the historic registry, and it brings in tourism from both the around the city and then also out of state. The last slide on quality of life is the school district. USD 261 has 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, a high school, specialty high school, education center, and an early childhood program. They've received 3 blue ribbons at the following schools: Campus, which is Campus High School, Oakville, and Ruth Clark Elementary. We also have a school-based health clinic, and this is in partnership with KU, and it serves as primary care clinic for students and staff. In the high school, you'll also find Stomping Grounds Coffee Shop, Valley State Bank, and a t-shirt shop. All of these businesses employ students and help to teach them valuable job skills. WSU and WSU Tech classes are also given at the high school to get a head start on college credits or on job readiness after graduation. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about businesses. Some of our past business incentives are selling city-owned land at very reasonable prices and graduated tax rebates of the city's portion of the ad valorem property tax. Our current incentives are a coffee house incentive and a steakhouse family dining incentive. And then future incentives are being worked on as well. Currently, we do have 215 businesses in Haysville. So I would like to share about a couple of our businesses that are currently in Haysville. One is Wentworth Manufacturing. They sew or bond using a variety of materials, premium industrial textile products. They do custom design projects and engineering services, and 65% of their business comes from government contracts. And then the remaining business comes from commercial and industrial customers. And they have approximately 200 employees. We also have Diversicare of Kansas. They provide short-term rehabilitation, long-term medical, hospice, assisted living, and memory care. And they have approximately 80 employees. We also have 2 hotels, both located off of I-35, Sleep-In Suites and Haysville Express Inn, and 3 industrial parks, also great locations off of I-35. And we do still have some land available, so there is some room for growth there. And those can be found on Lois or Location 1, and those are on the business development page. Some of our future businesses in Haysville include Midwest Health, Assisted Living, and Memory Care. They will be located in North Haysville as a part of the River Forest subdivision. Construction is anticipated to be from 2022 to 2024. And once opened, they'll have 45 to 50 healthcare positions available. The Kansas statewide housing assessment validated the need for senior care living communities and to free up middle income housing needs. So we are delighted that they chose Haysville. We did offer a few incentives to them as well. The land was sold very reasonably as part of the Haysville Land Bank, and the city is covering some infrastructure. Another one is Coppertail, which is at the top of the photo in the slide. And I had mentioned this one before in the previous slide because it has residential area on most of the land in the back of it, but the front of it along Grand will be a strip of retail and office space. And then another future business is Beauties and Beasts, which just purchased a building on Broadway. This location will be an upscale adoption center. And the lower photo shows a picture of that building. Community outreach is very important to them, and they have already collaborated with our senior center to provide dog food to families in need. And then they also have many other ideas, so we're really excited for them to be in the community. And their final zoning change request is also tonight at City Council meeting. So next we'll discuss improvement plans, and then I'll conclude by discussing infrastructure improvements. So we do have a Parks Master Plan. However, I've already covered much of those improvements in earlier slides, so I'll move into the South Broadway Corridor Plan. It is a long-range vision plan with 3 key areas in it. The first is road and intersection with widening and adding turn lanes. And to date, we've completed the 79th Street intersection. The second is adding sidewalks. We're working on getting grant funding for that. And we're resubmitting for KDOT cost share funding soon. And the final plan is to add a sidewalk from the Mitch Mitchell floodway to Berlin Street. And I have on the photo on the slide indicating the beginning and the ending of that sidewalk. So it's quite long. And then that last area is land use and development standards. We also have a South Meridian Corridor Plan with 3 main focuses. The first is sidewalk improvements. We've added a sidewalk on the west side of the street from Grand to Country Lakes Edition, which is in the south side of Grand. Added a sidewalk on the north side from Grand to Haysville West Middle School, which is the north side of Grand. And we're in the design process of adding a sidewalk on the east side of the street from Grand to Chelsea, which is south of Grand. And then finally, we completed the Tim Norton pedestrian bridge, which is a 907-foot long bridge and is shown in the photo on the slide. It's over the floodway on Meridian, with the closest intersection of Meridian and 63rd. The county paid 20% of the construction costs, and then the city paid 20% of the county's construction, so 4% of the total construction cost, and then WAMPO distributed the remaining 80% with federal funds. The second focus is land use, which we're currently working on residential development off of Meridian, just south of Grand that I had mentioned earlier. And the photo of the land is in the upper right-hand corner. And the last item was road widening. And we did do turn lanes and lighting improvements to 55th and Meridian intersection for safety. The last plan is the bike and pedestrian master plan. And again, many of the items I've already addressed in other plans. But for the items that weren't, we completed wayfinding signs and bicycle parking, and we continue working on other bike and pedestrian paths. So the final two slides are on infrastructure. The repaving of North Main Street was completed in summer of 2021. It went from Grand Avenue to the Mitch Mitchell floodway bridge, and funding for this was an 80-20 split, with KDOT for the construction and Haysville paid the design and administrative costs. It also added road reconstruction, included road reconstruction, sidewalk improvements, and the addition of a flashing crosswalk. Several antique light fixtures were also converted to LED within the city. LED converts nearly 100% of its energy to light and lasts almost 100,000 hours. So it was a good economic switch. And we made some recent upgrades to manholes, wastewater lines, and sewer lines. The sewer lines actually increased the life by 75 to 100 years. And we're currently working on water meter upgrades as well. The water meters are being converted to an AMI system. So once it's finished, residents will be able to see their water usage even by the hour online. And then we also anticipate starting water main upgrades next year, which will be 100% funded by ARPA funds. And then the final project I'd like to tell you about is the Sunset Fields project, which was completed in March 2022. This was in a residential area east of Seneca and north of the Big Ditch. The photo of the area is on the slide there. And it previously had dirt roads and some drainage issues. The project was done in 4 phases that included pavement, stormwater infrastructure, curb and gutter, and driveways. And this was funded by the CDBG grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce and by the city of Haysville. And property owners did not incur any special taxes on that. So I do want to thank you for the opportunity to present today. I've also included the city's main and business development websites. Do you have any feedback or questions for me?
Thank you, Danielle. Does anyone have any questions about what's happening in Haysville? As far as providing quality advice, which is important to attract businesses and economic development. So we appreciate what you're doing. And WAMPO is pleased to be a partner with some of the projects that we have going in that area.
Thank you so much.